What is the best way to build generational wealth? We'll start with the plan. So we have a legacy 3-day workshop that we did in 2022. When the kids book came out, the Make Your Kids Millionaires book came out, we followed with a 3-day course on how do you start building a legacy for your family. And it requires financial literacy. It requires you all to lean in and get aligned. Now, generational wealth just isn't about a financial plan. It's about generational wealth. The statistics show that 2.3 generations is the amount of years before most of the money's blown. So if you want it to be generational, like Rockefeller style, 5 generations, 10 generations, for a very long time, you've got to put some rules of engagement. So let's talk through that. What is generational wealth? What is the definition? And it's not just about accumulating. So what is it really? It's not just a big mass of money without any definition. Second thing, what are the structures and the asset classes that are actually going to make it generational? And third, how to prepare that next generation so they don't blow it. So let's start with the definition of generational wealth. I'm actually going to read. By definition, generational wealth is built through a combination of accumulating appreciating assets, structuring them for tax-efficient transfers, developing the next generation's financial capacity, meaning literacy, application, and integration of their knowledge to grow and sustain what they inherit. In the Millionaire Maker's Guide to Wealth Cycle Investing, I talk a lot about where your assets are, how they could be held, and in generational wealth models, a lot of times you are using good debt. So do you pay off debt that you could have got in the 2020, 21, 22 era where you can get, 0 to 3% loans? No, because those loans are not available. And we're, recording this now in April of 2026. So you want to actually look at all your assets, how they are leveraged by debt, and then start making decisions and actually have a very comprehensive plan of where your generational wealth is going to grow. Are you going to grow in land and energy and water? That's a lot of my family's assets. Are you going to do all stock market? Are you going to get very, very focused on just a business and it's going to become a generational business? Like I have families that literally on their 3rd and 4th generations of running a general contracting business, building high-end homes. So there's all sorts of ways you can take that. It's like what's right for you and your family. So here at Integrated Wealth Systems, we give you a tool belt. All sorts of tools. In fact, it's me and 28 other business and financial experts. So through that, we can do all your business development, marketing, sales, really help you grow your income. And then from that, with all that extra income, what are you going to invest in so you build an asset column and actually, again, create the pattern of make money and invest money. That's the pattern of millionaires. That's the pattern for generational wealth. The biggest part of generational wealth is in your corporate structure, and it is not talked about enough. Even estate lawyers and estate planners that say they do generational wealth planning, I don't see them using corporate structure and then trust structures to actually create that legacy that people want. Right? A lot of the trusts, they come down the minute the person dies. They don't actually stay and live on. Like if you look at the Rockefellers and you've studied how their structures are, they have corporations that have been in existence for well over 100 years. So if you're going to build it, you're going to build it and then grow. I mean, think about just building a foundation and then you're just going to keep building a bigger foundation. All of a sudden you're going to have a compound, right? And then you're going to actually own just more and more. And a lot of those are held in trusts that are non-depletion trusts. They're very directional trusts and they have a lot of rules of engagements. A lot of times the beneficiaries of those, the kids or whoever you hand them to, don't actually get the finale of a total cash out. A non-depletion trust is intended that you can write a business plan and you can borrow money and you have to pay it back. And if you lose money, there's consequences on the business not working. Same with a loan. You can actually borrow money and you got to pay it back. So the goal for the family, and usually these are run as family offices, by the way. So you're going to hire some financial planners, wealth managers, CPAs, and folks who are really going to take the foundation of what you build in this lifetime and then double it in the next lifetime, double it in the next lifetime, or some version of that growth pattern. It's up to you how fast you want to grow and what assets you want to accumulate to grow. The asset classes, again, that are inside those structures, and the structures are typically limited partnerships, limited liability companies, S Corps, C Corps. Those are held in trust. But the assets are held into those entities because they have a tax benefit that a trust does not have. There are a lot of planners that I've seen, like we acquire a client, they come and they transfer their plans and their work over to us, and they literally have assets straight to trust. Well, they're missing the entire tax basis of that. So its assets are held in entities and entities are held in trust. You load it with life insurance, and then all of your IRAs are held in trust. All the other, accumulated assets are held directly to trust. Assets that are typically inside of these kind of entities, again, is real estate, gas and oil. You could pretty much say land, energy, water, index funds, stock portfolios, stocks that were, purchased years and years and years ago. Now, if anything in an IRA, let's just get that clear in what today's law is. If you actually have a 401k and it's an inherited 401k, the beneficiaries now have 10 years to have to reallocate the entire asset base. So before, you could actually have an inherited IRA and then flip it to the next generation and flip it to the next generation and accumulate inside. So people caught on to that smart strategy. And now the law is that you have to actually divest, reinvest in 10 years of that inherited IRA actually being handed or inherited to you. So while you're here, I want you to subscribe to this channel, click the notification button, be here 5 days a week. And please, if this is about generational wealth, then you need to share it with everyone that you're related to, right? All side by side. I would share it even to cousins, to relatives. Why not? Definitely to your parents and definitely to your children. There has to be an alignment. And if there's not an alignment, there's also very cool generational wealth tools like generational skipping. So maybe you have some kids or some people, beneficiaries, that you want to modify and change because they're not willing to get on board and aligned. And I know some parents that have joined our big table say, my kids just aren't interested. Good, skip them. That is seriously what I would do, is seriously what I coach my families to do, is if the kids aren't willing to get engaged and they just want to be a trust fund baby, we're going to skip them and take them to their kids and then get the kids inside the big table, get the kids reading the books, get the kids learning about a legacy. So how do you get them to prepare? They have to lean in. If I was you, I'd make them listen to my YouTube channel. They'd have a certain percent of videos that they have to be watching. They need to read all my 6 New York Times bestsellers. And ultimately, you want to bring them to the big table where we help you craft and create those conversations inside your family. You need to have at least a monthly meeting about money and alignment inside your family and write some of this stuff out. So work with a good estate lawyer that's aggressive and aligned to your plan. It's amazing. They're actually an estate lawyer and will say to you, you don't need a trust. There's not a probate state. Every state's a probate state. You need a trust, a revocable family living trust, to make sure you and your family in this generational plan doesn't land in probate, which usually 30 to 50% will be taken by the state or the probate lawyer. So don't be those people. If you have questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.